there goes all of our viewers. Everybody, welcome to today's stream, Friday. Should we even do the date? Who really cares? So anyways, we got 7
October
topics today.
12th, 2018.
Oh, there you go. So we've got 7
Also,
topics
I'm
today.
back finally.
Yes, Hoplu's back. Everybody say hello.
Hey.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, you're going to want to give the dates because we're going to be looking back at these like in 5 years and fucking it's going to be like, oh, that was pretty cool. And then you hear the dates and it's going to give you like a nostalgia overload because you're going to think of what you were doing at that time.
Right.
How do you think about the date by looking at it on the whatchamacallit on YouTube?
You could do that too.
Well, yeah, but what if our channels are taken down? You know our channels aren't going to be up in 5 years.
I already.
That is true.
We're always fighting against YouTube over their.
That is true.
Plus,
Yeah.
YouTube is probably not even going to be a thing in 5 years, based on how we're going right now.
It will just be. It'll just be like MySpace. No one is entirely sure why that website still exists, but yeah, there it is, just chugging along, barely existing, putting up fumes. But yeah, so anyways, first topic of today is we have an actual uplifting story of police brutality, if such a thing could even be considered. So if you're on stream, you can see it right now. Cops charged with home invasion because a man asked for a warrant and they broke in without one.
Oh!
Yeah. So, in a nutshell, what happened is in Detroit, surprised it wasn't Mesa, Arizona for once, police were searching for a suspect. They had the name, they had a warrant for his arrest. And so they went to this guy's house where they thought that the suspect was hiding. The guy, the homeowner, comes out and just says like, hello. Cops are like, hey, we believe this guy's here. Is he here? And he says, no. So can we come in? And the guy does what any reasonable person would do and say like, no, you can't come in. I don't give you permission, and you don't have a warrant to search my house. So he closes the door, and police just, as you can see in the picture, I don't think this is an actual picture of what happened, but it's something like it, where police just break in, they handcuff and arrest the guy, and
What
they
the
find...
fuck, dude?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
So they just break in, search and ransack the house, place the guy under arrest for a period of, if I recall correctly, 36 hours. And yeah, and this is so bad that the precinct actually decided that, like, yeah, these police officers, these government employees actually did break the law, and we're going to arrest them.
Yeah, that's like a fucking 1,000 constitutional violations.
Yeah, they're not going to enforce it though. Watch the cops
No.
like get out pretty quick here. Wait, they didn't get arrested, did they?
They did actually.
Well, yeah, they're not gonna go to jail. They'll get out pretty quick here.
Probably. I mean, it's going to be curious what happens. I mean, most of the time, you don't even need a conviction to ruin somebody's life or just to put them through the legal ringer. You just need to put them out of the job for an extended period of time and put them out of $100,000 in legal fees.
Exactly.
This is how courts ruin your life.
Well, you did violate the ever-loving shit out of that guy's rights, but at the same time, we can't be too mad because you're our employees, and he was not a black guy, so didn't get the media mad at us.
I don't know if the victim of the incident was black or not. The guy's name was Tashar Cornelius.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I think it's like because it's government employees and, well, the guy who was arrested survived the event, it probably didn't bring out the kind of media attention. Mostly because it makes the state look bad.
Exactly.
Also, did they bring up the mental illness card? Because the officer must have some sort of mysterious mental illness.
Oh, I'm sure. So, also, I'm looking further in the article, and it says that the officers were suspended with pay as they await court. They've been put into a rubber room, you guys. They're literally being paid full salary to sit on their hands.
After violating someone's Fourth Amendment rights.
Yep. And fun fact, although they were arrested, they were released on $5,000 bail, and they spent less time in jail than the man they falsely arrested.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not that.
This is
And they will have the mysterious mental illness, you boys. Sorry, Esso.
Yep.
So
We'll
it's not really it's not really a victory against the state. It's just more and more of the same.
It's
Exactly.
It's a slight improvement because normally the way this goes is that cops break into man's home, shoot their dog.
It's because they explicitly violated his Fourth Amendment rights. If they didn't do something to those cops, then, you know, us pesky anarchists would have something to point at that, you know, the state selectively enforces its laws, and they can do that because they don't have any competition.
Oh, come on. How many homes do SWAT teams break into on a monthly basis? How many dogs do they shoot? And it turns out, whoops, wrong house. How many of those guys get arrested?
Yeah, good.
Let's see. How many days go by without some bullshit like this?
No, but I think in the case of a SWAT team, like, don't they have like a warrant first? If they don't, then yeah, that's interesting.
Well, if they have a warrant, but the warrant is going to be very specific for a specific address. But whoops, it's the wrong house. They broke into the house that the warrant didn't authorize them to go inside.
Doesn't really matter even if they have a warrant. All that means is, oh, well, the state can violate your rights. They just have to write this thing first. That allows them to violate your Fourth Amendment rights. That's really all a warrant is.
Pretty much. But I mean, like, if you're operating within the pretense of constitutional law, then the warrant actually matters. And in this case, well, there's nothing that the SWAT team isn't doing that doesn't constitute a home invasion.
But if you're looking at what the state's actually doing, just from a consistency standpoint, that's really all it is. They're saying, oh, we can't violate your Fourth Amendment, your right to privacy, and your right to not have forced association, but we can do that if we give ourselves the permission to. Okay, so that sort of cancels itself out, doesn't it?
Pretty much.
If you're the ultimate arbiter of when you're allowed to violate someone's right to privacy, then really don't have a right to privacy, do you?
No, you don't at all. Now, I should also point out that if the pair are convicted, according to the article, they face up to 15 years in jail, which of course means 7, but there you go. Take what you can get. But I'm just saying, I don't mind these people being stripped of their right to vote.
No one can.
We're all of us here are for the universal non-suffrage.
That's true. But I mean, like, good lord, who are these kinds of people voting for?
Yeah, no one should have the right to mob together and impose their will onto another person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, universal non-suffrage.
Yay, universal non-suffrage.
They should just like go on campus, like posting like signs that we should advocate for universal non-suffrage.
Oh yeah, do that. You should do that. If you think fucking it's okay to be white triggered people, holy fuck, could you imagine what universal non-suffrage would do?
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm definitely going to do that. Fucking damn, keep getting shotgun.
That will be freaking beautiful. But the difference is that universal non-suffrage is probably going to be something that a lot of statists are going to pretty quickly rally themselves against. Whereas it's okay to be white is a completely harmless statement.
Yeah, it is a completely harmless statement. So there is a little bit of a difference. Universal non-suffrage you'd have to understand the ideological background of it first, whereas it's okay to be white is just a completely innocuous thing to say that they got triggered over.
Yeah, so did I tell you
Exactly.
about like a story about the other day about coming out day, like at the campus?
Yeah, you were just
But,
telling us. You were telling us
No, I
earlier
know
on
I told
Discord.
you, Filthy, but did like Esso here? Like, was he in the call? Like when I told you guys?
I can't
What?
wait. Just can't wait.
I think I'll just tell it off stream.
You definitely
Okay.
told it off stream. Do you want to tell it now?
Yeah, what the hell am I thinking? So on Thursday it was official coming out day. We were supposed to come out as whatever, just say whatever, and I'm like, you know what? Like I said to my class, we should legalize privatized nukes. I got laughed at.
It was dumb of you to say that on coming out day, because that doesn't have anything to do with fucking gender or whatever.
I sexually
Yeah.
identify as a nuclear weapon.
They
That's stupid.
probably literally thought you were making a joke. They didn't understand.
know,
that
that's the
was a
funny thing,
political
'cause
idea.
I'm just like, yeah, I laugh at that because in reality I'm actually fucking serious.
Well, normally what you do is you try to you can do one of two things. You can either implant the idea in their mind to desensitize to them in the future, or you can introduce to them the basic concepts of the idea first, where it's like, do you think it's the state's role to determine what kind of property you have, and you can then take that to its logical conclusion, which means yes, it is okay to own nukes. There's
I'm at
nothing
a
wrong with
college
it.
university. I highly doubt I'll have that ability to.
No.
I do not think I'll be able to have a
Yeah,
reasonable conversation.
What's your objection to recreational nukes? I fucking swear to God, if that happens again, I'm fucking. Anyway.
All right, so we should move on to the next topic.
No, but what I was going to say really quick, think about the statist objection to the ownership of recreational nukes. What's their only objection to it? Oh, people will start using them to threaten one another. Well,
No.
look at what governments are doing to each other on an almost daily basis.
Isn't that the basis for foreign policy for ever since the Cold War?
Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing you could possibly say is that, well, you know, there'll be mutually assured destruction, so therefore we'll be at peace. Or, you know, people won't blow each other up because you can't make money off of a radioactive crater. I mean, unless you're playing Fallout 76, but that's besides the point.
You know what? I should find like a libertarian club like at the campus, and then when they're like talking about stuff, they're like, "Oh, hey, what do you believe in?" I'm just like,
You're not going to find a libertarian club at a college campus. If you do, they're going to be like libertarian socialist or whatever.
Or you know,
Yeah.
libertarian party.
There's actually some conservative people at the campus.
You mean Conservatism Incorporated?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well,
I mean, like, I actually got a flyer to like the other day that Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk actually going to speak at the campus.
well,
No,
Yeah.
conservatives are not libertarian. Just
I
throwing that
know,
out
but
there.
it's still want to just. I don't know. It just gives me. I'm just like, you know what? There, just maybe, there might be, because actually, no. Before I moved to the university, there actually were some libertarians that I happened to be with. Like, and I didn't realize that. I was like, oh, hey, these guys are actually libertarians. I thought they were like these basic bitch conservatives at first. No, they're actually libertarians. So, yeah, I think it's possible considering it's a much bigger university. So anyway, next topic.
yeah, next topic. We have Anthony Little Wiener. Anybody remember him?
Oh yeah, the dude who fucking sexts with 14-year-olds.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah, so in case anybody doesn't remember, Anthony
Yeah.
Little Wiener was a congressman. Yeah, was he a congressman or senator? I actually forget.
He
Uh,
was
Oh yeah, ex-congressman. It says right here.
yeah.
I'm
he was-
dumb.
but was he with the? He was the husband of Uma Abedin, who was. I don't know if she was Hillary's campaign manager, but she was close with Hillary's campaign.
Yeah. So you can see in the picture right here, like he is not a good-looking guy. So what he did was he started texting with like a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, sexting, mind you. And then that came out. He was basically put on probation for like a few months, and he started coming back. He had this whole comeback. He had this whole comeback tour thing, where he was gonna like try to rehabilitate himself, become the real representative of New York City. Just you watch out. He was even trying to do a. He was even campaigning to be the mayor of New York. And then guess who got his hand? Guess who got caught with his hand in the cookie jar again, or rather, his own pants.
Oh,
Yeah, and
What a fucking creep. Can't even like keep it to himself or try and keep himself anonymous when everybody knows about him.
I mean,
But-
you gotta have like, if you get caught once, at some points, it's like, even if you don't have any remorse and you just don't want to be caught again, you would be a little bit more careful about what you do, who you do it to. You know, be a little bit more discreet. When you're sexting, you wear a mask. You wear a bandana over your mouth, sunglasses, a ski mask, doesn't matter. There's all sorts of very simple common sense things you can do when you're being an absolute freaking creep. And I mean, just look at him. Look at his face. The guy's total creep.
he looks like someone from a political cartoon.
Oh, he is someone from a political cartoon. But anyways,
Well,
Anthony
of course
Little
he
Wiener.
is.
So my favorite moment is when he was first caught. There was this I don't remember which channel, but it was this big event where Anthony Little Wiener was making his resignation from being a congressman of New York. And of course there were a bunch of hecklers in the back crowd. One of them shouted, "Bye bye, pervert!" when he when he made his announcement to leave. And of course, you gotta remember, are you more than 7 inches?
Ah,
That was absolutely freaking amazing.
that was.
Yeah, so anyways, I had the article out for like the last 2 or 3 minutes while I'm explaining all this backstory, but I think it's useful because the Predator ex-congressman is getting out of jail early.
Government employee.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, I should also remember, what is the name of the Democrat majority leader in Congress? Chuck Schumer? Yeah, that's who this guy's mentor was.
Ooh.
Yeah, so his protege ends up getting caught in this. And anyways, so what happened is that he got caught sexting 15-year-olds for some reason, and now he's going to be released early because of good behavior. Yay!
Wow.
And good conduct time that may be earned throughout the remainder of his sentence.
Wow.
Yeah, when is the last time that you've heard a politician go to jail where they didn't like get a short sentence or they didn't get bailed out or they just straight up didn't go to jail after it was very publicly observed that they'd done this?
Actually,
I think
there's an answer to that.
outside of Bernie Madoff, I can't think of one.
I can.
That's
What's
one
his
name.
name? Ron Blagojevich, who was previously governor of Illinois. And what made it interesting is because apparently Blagojevich was involved with Barack Obama in terms of buying and selling his Senate seat. So he was made to go to jail because it was convenient for the President of the United States, basically.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. The only time politicians ever actually go to jail is when it's convenient for another politician for them to do so.
It's
Which-
almost as if the system was built with this in mind.
Now, I'm pretty sure we've already established that there are at least 2 very powerful political connections with Anthony Little Wiener. We have his mentor, Chuck Schumer, who at the time was still a very prominent and highly respected member of the Senate, and we have Huma Abedin, who is a personal friend to Hillary Rodham Clinton. So, naturally, I think the only reason that Anthony Little Wiener was made to go to jail in the first place is because he was inconvenient, an embarrassment, if you will.
Yep.
Of course, now that Hillary Clinton's political ambitions are pretty much over and done with, I don't think it really matters anymore. So it's pretty much just okay to let him out now. Yay! And in the meantime, how many people are going to jail because they smoke a plant?
That's the state for you. Oh God.
Yeah, going to jail for smoking a plant and maybe never even coming out again. I mean, some of those people get really long sentences.
Mandatory minimum, and even then, like there's certain things the police do to try to make the sentence worse, where they will just
Yeah, they'll add on charges. But yeah, you can think some people go in when they're 30 and 40. Yeah, they might either die in prison, or if they do come out, they're in their 60s or 70s when they do.
Exactly.
And not only that, well, I know this is Canadian prison, but actually Canadian prison is not nearly as harsh as American prison. I can tell you that right now. And the corrections officers will also actively try to antagonize you and shit like that and all that. And if you look at them wrong, you'll be thrown in solitary confinement, and they can do all kinds of crazy shit with you. You are on your knees when you're in there. Fuck. Yeah.
Oh, in American prison, they can deprive you of food.
Simply because you feel like it.
They did that in Canadian too.
That's not something that like they talk about publicly, but I remember like back in 2012, I did a stint in juvie because I got in a fight with some kid on my street. And yeah, those motherfuckers would just straight up not give us food sometimes.
Because
like I have firsthand experience with it, and that was juvie, jail for kids.
Wow.
I can only imagine it's.
Could you imagine what a maximum security prison is like?
Well, you don't have to imagine, because there have been studies done that solitary confinement triggers the same amount of stress hormones in the body as does physical torture.
Oh yeah, my friend, he was put in solitary or whatever and all that, and yeah, he has schizophrenia now. Whatever, he was released recently. He has schizophrenia now. And guess what? No one's gonna fucking treat him. He's basically in a fucking dark corner in a prison now because he can't be independent or anything. Fuck.
And
that's why I say solitary confinement's like worse punishment than the death sentence, because you need human interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck yeah! Just fucking shoot them already. Fuck, like, if whatever and all that. Honestly, I think anyone who puts a person in solitary confinement is just as bad as the very rapists they fight against. Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Except for pedos.
No, you can do this. You can do this experiment in your home. Lock yourself in the bathroom with plenty of food and water for 12 hours and see what happens.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't officially recommend that people do this, but anyways, we're a little bit off topic right now.
Yeah, there's a reason that happens too. It's an instinctive psychological phenomena. We start to panic when we feel trapped. I think it's referred to as a fight or flight response. When you feel trapped, you instinctively either try and escape or fight.
Yeah.
But you're trapped in a room when you're locked in a room in solitary confinement, so you can't do either. It really, there's a reason why it messes with your mind so badly.
Yeah,
I think my parents just came home to get me some Taco Bell. I'm like, wait a moment to see you.
Yeah, I remember over dinner when I talk about whatever. No, actually, not over dinner. I remember when my mom one time talking to me and all that stuff or whatever. Like my mom was talking about how she tried to compare police officers and politicians and all that stuff to doctors and all that. I'm like, major false equivalency right there.
Well, first off, doctors have to cite an oath to do no harm, and politicians and police officers only harm. They literally never do anything else.
politicians and police officers beat the crap out of you and give you psychological damage, and doctors cure that. That's the difference between the two of them.
Well, the difference
In
is
their
that
defense, I don't
politicians
remember
expect you
when
to
Bernie Sanders
thank
beat
them
me
for
up.
it.
Yeah, it's like whatever and all that and all that. It's like, well, she tried to make the thing like she talks about like how there's some doctors that perform like child murder with abortion and all that or whatever. And then I'm like, yeah, but the difference is with the state, it's like, oh my god, it's because most of these people are already fucked up when they go in the first place.
Yeah.
And usually, even if they had the best intentions or whatever and all that stuff, the stuff that they're fucking doing as of now with the best, even if they had the best intentions, still fucks people up. And because of the way the voting system works and all that, we can't stop it or whatever.
Anyways, we should be moving on to the third topic.
Oh, damn it. I just wanted to say one thing really quick on that note.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
I'm sure we'll move on afterwards, but I had a really fucked conversation today with one of my family members. They told me they were talking about economics. We saw I was telling you off stream that Fox is almost always on in my house and I hate it. But Ron Paul came on and fucking schooled the host of Fox Business about the economy. He's just telling him this is a bubble. Yeah, we have the Fed's just constantly manipulating interest rates, and Trump, he's just making himself look good because he knows that there's a crash coming, but he's not proposing any actual solutions. He's just saying, oh, look, the Fed's bad. And I started talking. I was like, see, that's an actual economic conversation. That's what I said. He's like, well, no, the problem is that China owns our debt. What the fuck does that even mean? Own our what?
Oh, my parents used to say that too.
All right, well, we gotta move on.
That's a ridiculously Orwellian concept. First of all, how do you own a debt? Debt is something that you have because you don't own anything, yet you're spending more than you have. And to own something requires you to actually possess something and have dominion over it. So that's an oxymoron.
Yeah, we got to move on now. So Amazon, you remember those guys?
Oh boy.
Yeah, these are the same people that have a $300 or is it $600 million contract to host CIA information on their servers. So what's going on now is that Amazon was just granted a patent for tracking Bitcoin transactions and selling the data to the government.
Well, that's if you actually register your wallet ID with Amazon, because yeah, you can't actually trace cryptocurrency on its own, and I think that's the purpose. I made a video not too long ago going over how the media is talking about cryptocurrency, and this is a propaganda trick they're trying to pull and make people think that it's not as secure as it actually is. And the reason that they're going to do that is because they're trying to essentially make people less confident in it, like make people not want to buy it as much.
Exactly.
Sounds about right. But yeah, so what they're trying to do is Amazon wants to track Bitcoin because of reasons, I guess. They probably want to try to get in on Amazon's Facebook's business model, which is track their users and track their transactions and sell it to big data, the government.
Yeah, but more importantly, this is publicly documented, established example of Amazon working with the CIA, so you can't say that they don't work with the government very closely.
Well, these private companies are 100% independent, not a single dime from the government whatsoever.
But more importantly, the CIA works with the Rothschilds and the executive branch specifically. They're controlled by the Rothschilds and they work with the executive branch. So, you know what that means? again, this is just another established tie between these tech giants and Donald Trump once again, because Donald Trump has a very intimate relationship with the CIA, and the CIA is turning around and telling these tech giants to censor the media, and then Donald Trump is turning around and saying, "Well, hey, we need to regulate these companies because they're censoring people."
It's really a three-way. It's really a three-way. For lack of a better term, circle jerk.
It's really just quite the example of Machiavellian manipulative politics that we're watching right now with the social media debate.
Let's see here. So it goes: CIA has big tech censoring the media, prompting Trump, who is working with the CIA, to give the social media companies more power. So naturally, the tech giants only gain from censoring small companies or small media companies.
Yeah, but I mean, you could see this in other ways too, like how the government is subsidizing these big tech giants, and Trump would have to sign these bills that give them their money.
Pretty much. And just a few weeks ago, there was a miniature omnibus bill that was signed by Trump into law, which increased the military spending by 80%, if I recall correctly, in addition to funding basically all of the government's activities, with the exception of the border wall. I'm sure a lot of Trump supporters are going to be very happy to hear about that. Obamacare is completely funded, and Planned Parenthood is completely funded. Yay!
Amazing.
I think it's very important that people realize that Donald Trump is working against them, and he's probably one of the most Orwellian presidents that we've ever had, because he understands, and I think this is more a symptom of late-stage statism more than anything. They understand how pissed off people are with them. They understand their system is collapsing. So now just politics relies so heavily in the mainstream on controlled opposition and psyops. It's just it's an interesting thing to watch, really.
Well, I mean, you have the whole government is basically controlled by one party, and the other one is controlled opposition. Now, which one is that? I'll let you decide. But anyways,
both of them are controlled by the same group. That's the state.
Pretty much.
It's just that one of them at all times is always acting as controlled opposition, and the other is acting as the voice of reason to try and convince more people to get engaged with the system. The controlled opposition is there to try and scare people, and the voice of reason part is to try and convince people that the only way they can protect their interests is through the state.
Pretty much, even though it's the same two boots that are trampling all over your rights. Anyways,
I mean, we could go further into detail, like if we were given a more specific topic. But yeah, I've elaborated on it quite a bit in some of my videos.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, let's move on to the next topic. Here's another fun one. A little something I had a little fun with in the early OOs and early to mid to late OOs. Global warming, and now we call it climate change. I mean, you know that they changed the goalposts when they acquiesced that no, the Earth isn't getting warmer, but the climate is changing.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the.
Did you know that in the 70s it was global cooling?
Yes.
So
in the 40s, it was called weather.
So okay, so it's actually gone from global cooling to global warming to climate change. It seems like they were like, "Oh, we're wrong." So no, it's not that we're wrong. It's just that it's actually getting warmer, not cooler. Then they're proven wrong again. Oh no, it's not that we're wrong. It's just that it's doing both simultaneously at the same time somehow.
Mind you,
So what's the doomsday date today?
the Earth has until 2030 to stem catastrophic climate change, experts warn. Now, who are those
Wow.
experts? What are those experts saying? Or what credentials do those experts have? I don't know. And quite frankly, I'm not sure it's really important. I'm sure that it is. I'm sure they have their major. I'm sure they majored in astrology.
I distinctly remember in 2012 when they were saying the world was going to end in 2018. Now it's 2018. It's going to be 2030. And in 2008, it was 2012. Yeah, they do this. They keep shifting the goalpost every time they're wrong. It's really sad that so many people take them seriously. It's really, really obvious that that's what they're doing. These are just pseudo-scientific doomsday predictions, and people are treating them like we actually have to take it seriously, and scarily, we have to implement these large government regulatory policies which give the government a significant control over industry to try and combat these doomsday hypotheses.
Isn't it interesting how all these solutions always seem to magically have or how all these problems have magically government solutions?
Because they're probably making money off it, either directly from the government itself or other people when they're fear mongering about it, and then whatever. And all. Yes.
Oh yeah, if you look at Enron, you guys remember the Enron scandal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of our viewers, Enron had a scandal going on in the 2000s, or very early, right around the turn of the century, where they were involved in a whole lot of shady crap.
Yeah, and it had to do with global warming and the environment, and they were initially subsidized by the government to try and create clean energy plans.
Yay!
Okay, so I just got back from eating Taco Bell. What are we on right now?
You should really just stay on. So, Earth has until 2030 to stem catastrophic climate change, experts warn.
Oh,
Now, Esso said that he remembers how in 2012 it was the world was supposed to end by 2018. I remember in 2003, I think it was. By the year 2007, all the ice of the ice caps would be gone.
Yeah.
Also,
back in like 1995 or like sometime in the early 90s, you could actually go back and find this pretty easily. They were saying there was going to be no snow by the year 2000.
Yeah, I actually had some. Crap. That's not supposed to happen.
Also, I remember how you make that appeal to popularity fallacy of 97 or something insane like that, or 90% of weather scientists or climate scientists or whatever the fuck they call
climate scientists, and that's not even true. That's based on a study with a sample size of 72 people, and all of them were government employees.
Were they even scientists?
I think the majority of them weren't. And also, you mentioned earlier the people who are going to make money off of this. If I recall correctly, Al Gore, if you recall, the guy who made An Inconvenient Truth mockumentary.
And
it somehow got a sequel. I saw it 3 times, and it sucked all 3 times. So anyways, he invested a lot of money into a firm that was set to exchange carbon credits. If you don't know what carbon credits are, the government wanted to implement a plan where businesses will be required to have a certain number of carbon credits to be able to output a certain amount of carbon dioxide into the air, which means that their amount of productivity would be forced to be rationed. The idea being that if companies were exchanging these carbon credits, that would somehow make money selling what is essentially a worthless piece of paper.
Yep.
But Al Gore was set to make a crap ton of money from carbon credits being exchanged, which is pretty much why he did what he did, involving ringing the alarm bells for a problem that doesn't exist.
Yeah, so he had a vested interest in it. I actually was well aware of that, but yeah, it is interesting you bring that up. Especially when you. No, that's all I really had to say on that.
Yeah, well, here's some. I had an article from the Daily Caller listing the top 5 failed predictions for climate change, or more specifically, top
Well, a lot of them,
5 failed snow-free and ice-free predictions. I want
a
to go
lot
over
of
these.
them-
Excuse
hold
me.
on, man. A lot of them just straight up contradict one another. They make two claims at the same time and blame them on climate change, and they contradict one another. Recently, for example, they've been claiming that autumn leaves are brighter and climate change is responsible, and they're also claiming that their colors are getting more dull and climate change is responsible.
I mean, I'm pretty sure climate change is responsible if their colors remain the same too. But here are some of the top 5 best snow-free and ice-free predictions. Scientists predicted in 2000 that kids would grow up without snow. Number 2, it's been 10 years since scientists predicted the end of skiing in Scotland. The Arctic should be ice-free by now. Gore said this in Gore in 2008 said that said the following: some of the models, love the passive voice there, suggest, more passive voice, that there is a 75% chance that the entire North Polar ice cap during some of the summer months could be completely ice-free within the next 5 to 7 years. That's amazing. Environmentalists predicted the end of spring snowfall, and, well, they predicted the end of skiing again. Yay! Which is funny because I went skiing last freaking winter. I mean, it sucked, but there was snow.
So, this is off topic, but I found an article that I wish I had. It is government plans to cap the calories in thousands of meals sold in restaurants and supermarkets, and this is in the UK.
That sounds about right.
Oh, the UK. That explains everything.
Yeah, so you need a license to jack off, and you can't even eat the food that you want. Oh boy.
Well, isn't London famous for its terrible food?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, no wonder that England literally does not have an obesity problem because nobody's eating anything because it all sucks. It just occurs to me that
feel bad for the people in the UK. Kitsune, I don't even think it's worth continuing your education over there, man. You gotta move out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm about to send it to you.
Well, there's plenty of education in America or anywhere, basically. Almost.
Definitely.
There it is.
So next topic, the good censor. Google Documents suggests web must be controlled because users are behaving badly.
Yeah, that's literally what they say. It's not that vague, but they state in the article not the article, but the document. They lost their faith in free speech. That's how they worded it, because of varying factors like the 2016 election and like Breitbart and stuff like that. But what's interesting mainly is that a lot of people are pointing to this as an example that the government needs to come in and regulate these big tech companies. But if you go to page 7, I believe it is 7 or 8 of the Good Censor, they very specifically point out a protectionist piece of regulation that was implemented by the government, which is what they cite as what allows them to do what they're doing.
Freaking hell!
Amazing.
I'm trying to open the thing on my browser, but it's not opening.
Oh, the article won't open.
It's a section of the that 1996 communications bill that net neutrality supporters also claim was the original net neutrality bill.
So here's a picture. It's really a screenshot from their article or from the Good Censor page, because somehow censorship is going to be just fine and dandy when we do it. Google, don't be evil. It says so on their lobby. That's their mission statement. But don't worry, as long as we're doing it, it's not evil. We promise. So, cyber harassment. From petty name-calling to more threatening behavior, harassment is an unwelcome component of life online for too many users. With sustained stalking and on-off incidents defining the spectrum, some experiences are easier to escape than others. 40% of users have been harassed online. Cyber racism. Supremacy. I'm confused here. Supremacy, destiny, and nationalism. Destiny? I'm sorry. Is that a typo?
Destiny.
Like, if that's a typo, what else could it be?
It's not a typo. The game just sucks.
Well, that's true. But I mean, like, apparently, like, the Bungie game Destiny caused them to lose faith in the internet.
I mean, it made me lose a lot of faith in a lot of things too, but...
Well, it made me lose faith in Bungie. But anyways, cyber racism, supremacy, destiny, and nationalism, otherness, separation, and hostility.
Cyber racism, fucking really?
Cyber racism exists in many guises.
Dude,
I'm tempted to say the word that begins with the N and ends with the R, or the NPR word. I don't know.
Ginger.
Why is it necessary to add the cyber part in cyber racism? Like, isn't it the same calling
because it sounds scarier,
I guess.
Also, I heard someone say toxic chivalry, so I mean that's possible.
I wouldn't be surprised, but anyways, I want to finish reading this. Cyber racism exists in many guises, but it most often describes a range of white supremacist movements in Europe and North America, and the new horizons the internet and digital media have opened for them.
Oh my god.
We're stepping off the internet in a big way. We have been spreading our memes. We have been organizing on the internet, and now we're coming out. Said by Robert Day from the Daily Stormer.
Dar.
Why are people acting like that these people are suddenly existing now because of Trump?
Yeah,
have you ever noticed that things written on the Daily Stormer seem conveniently worded or presented in a way where it gives the mainstream media ammunition to crack down on our rights?
I don't frequent the Daily Stormer, so I don't know.
Like, I'll have to look into that a bit more, but yeah, that's something that just occurred to me now. Is it seems like everything I've ever seen from the Daily Stormer, it seems that they're always presenting it like we're going to use our freedom of speech to rally all the Nazis together, or we're using the internet to spread our memes and infect mainstream culture. It just seems like they're giving them, like, deliberately giving the media ammunition to crack down on our rights.
Yeah. Now, mind you, this is a quote said at the Charlottesville protest, so this is it's dumb. I mean, just if you said it earlier, these people didn't just suddenly start existing because of Trump or because of the Daily Stormer. It's not like the whole bunch of people who were just waiting to have a flip switch.
Never heard of Poll.
Yeah. So these people always are going to exist, and if you're going to crack down on them, if you're going to make sure that they don't have any spaces at which to speak, you're not going to make them go away. They're not going to pack their bags just like, well, I guess I'm not a Nazi anymore. No, you're just going to make them go underground. And you know what happens when you go underground? You can't freaking stop them, and they have an opportunity to regroup.
And they're going to be like bacteria. They're just going to keep growing, and the next thing you know, they're going to unleash them.
More importantly,
they're gonna sorry, they're gonna play the victim card or whatever, and that's the thing that they do. They pretend they become like they think they are oppressed and all that stuff. Is that what the dry hand
Well, the
effect?
thing is, here is
This
if they're censored by the government, they are the victim. That's
Yeah.
the sad
Yeah,
truth.
but what I'm saying is that a lot of the alt-right tards I talk to use this victim complex as a basis for their arguments and the Jewish question and such.
Yeah, if you kick, that's the thing that they don't. This is actually pretty basic reasoning, but it's something that
Yeah.
they can't really seem to wrap their minds around. Is if you kick people out of the mainstream with these radical ideas, you're just gonna bring more people to the underground, and you can't control the underground.
Streisand effect.
Oh yeah,
So-
you know what's funny?
The Streisand
That
effect.
just
Now, there's
reminded me.
There's a third part to this piece I'm reading. So this is by far the funniest. So I'm just gonna go through that real quick. When they're angry, people vent their frustrations. But whereas people used to tell friends and family about bad experiences, the internet now provides a limitless audience for our gripes. As more and more people vent, online conversations fill with anger and nastiness.
You fucking people designed it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Software engineers from Twitter, which is closely partnered with Google, have admitted on record that their algorithms are designed to make people want to post their problems and stuff on social media because it gives them a little dopamine hit whenever somebody gives them a like.
Yep.
It's
That's a problem which they created if they're presenting that as a problem. So
Retards.
just why? So want me to move on to the second to last topic?
Sure.
Okay. So this
Oh, yeah,
one is
actually-
absolutely. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, Hopwood mentioned the Streisand effect. That reminds me, when Alex Jones was banned, like, just basically off the internet, the like, Google, like, you can see, like, certain words or phrases that get looked up. The term Streisand effect skyrocketed after that.
Oof.
So
Yeah.
funny.
That's
Yeah, well,
beautiful.
I mean, I suppose that's what it is, but what I meant more was that if you kick people off mainstream platforms, they're not going to be on the mainstream platforms, which is literally what they're trying to do by kicking them off. So they're just going to go underground, and they can't really control underground scenes. And that my point was that they're getting exactly what they want, but I don't think they seem to, or at least they're acting like they don't seem to realize the implications of doing that.
Oh, I know. I just found it funny just because when I thought of the word, I was like, oh, hey, I remember this.
Well, I legitimately don't think they're dumb enough to keep doing this over and over again, watch what happens every single time, and repeat the process. My suspension of disbelief has officially reached its end, and I'm convinced that they're doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
All right. So on that note, let's jump over to our second to last topic, which is freaking incredible. Cornerstone Carolyn, woman calls the police for sexual assault on a 9-year-old boy.
Me too. Hashtag me too.
Hey, ear rape. Hashtag me too.
Just why? Like, this is so. The woman believes she was sexually assaulted by a 9-year-old boy. Now, according to her, what happened is that as she was at the cash register, a boy was walking by and felt her up. And
Yeah,
of course,
there's surveillance footage to accompany it, and that's not what happened.
yeah, actually, there's surveillance footage right here. Let me play it on stream.
Yeah.
So, I actually don't know if you can see my mouse or not.
Did
so
she
anyways,
even?
watch.
Does a 9-year-old boy even have a fucking working sex drive at that point?
No, okay, so
No.
you can see.
No.
So So look on the left, you can see her coming up, and just looking at her, doesn't she look like a hashtag #MeToo feminist pussy hat wearing idiot?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like half of her head is shaved. All right, now here comes a kid, and she's pretty flipped out.
She was wrong.
She's saying something. Can't hear it because there's no audio. She's being rude. Everybody's perplexed because she's making a scene.
5 witnesses who saw it.
They're trying to walk away. And now she's making pelvic thrusts in the kids'
Yeah,
directions.
what the hell is that all about?
I'm gonna back that up again. Watch her. Watch her. She's making pelvic thrusts. What the hell?
Yeah, if anything, she's being predatory to that little kid by
Yeah. And now
making a scene and bringing everyone's attention on him, and then making pelvic thrusts at him.
Yeah, and then the mother comes back and starts telling her off, which I mean is
Yeah.
completely justified because this woman's being a
She called the
bitch.
cops.
Yeah.
Good mother.
Oh yeah, very good mother.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's like I swear it's a form of psychological projection she had on him, combination with the victim narrative. I swear that's what it was that did
Yeah,
this.
she-
She probably
I told you that before the stream.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that's what I think it is. I think this lady is just not getting any, so she's trying to make herself a victim because that gives her satisfaction.
yeah.
Well, again, she probably I have a theory, I have a hypothesis for her, but I imagine she had some really disgusting thoughts or was fantasizing about the kid, so that's why she was making pelvic thrusts, and then she felt guilty about it, and then she whatever, or possibly, I'm not sure, and then she psychologically projected it onto him or something.
It's entirely possible. I mean, I wouldn't rule that out. But I mean, what's even more interesting is that she goes out of her way to just call the police on these kids, or this kid, who you can see in the picture right here. It might be a little small on your screen, and it's a little fuzzy too, but you can tell this kid is just distraught. He is just crying, and it's this kid must feel like hell right now because as far as he knows, maybe his backpack touched her butt. That's probably exactly what happened. You can see on the surveillance footage that's, I'm just going to back up to that real quick, that he wasn't even paying attention to her. He was just walking by. He was actually looking away. His backpack was pointed towards her a little bit. That's probably what happened.
It shows how fucking disgusting that woman is, because now he's probably, if he's unlucky, he's probably going to be put on a fucking registry for the rest of his life. And his reputation's going to be fucking annihilated because, again, well, it's think about it, even though it's that's why I always, now this is another side thing that goes on to this as well, but yeah, I always have to wonder when there's someone who's registered as a sex offender. I gotta wonder if they've done something actually genuinely serious or whatever, or if they just did something innocent or stupid or something like that, and they're put on a registry because of an overbloated bureaucracy to not give a fuck about them.
I'm trying to see if there's any
That's the sad part about it. I always have to wonder, did this person genuinely do something sick or something, or did this person just got whatever, what happened to this kid, basically something stupid or innocent happened and whatever.
What I find hilarious is didn't this happen in New York City?
Yes, actually.
And the mayor's a progressive. I just picture this scene in my head where fucking the cops go to him about the story and they tell him, hey, there's this Me Too feminist who claims that she was sexually assaulted by some little black kid. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did you just say he was black?
Oof.
Oh no.
Get Hillary Clinton in here. Get Hillary Clinton, you guys. They're super predators.
Oh my god.
Get Hillary to rescue. Oh god.
So I can't see while the police did show up, it's not clear, at least in this article, what happened or what they did. But I have a strong suspicion that the police didn't do anything. At least that's what I hope happened.
Of course.
But I can't imagine that after seeing surveillance footage that's available on Twitter, that they can tell that nothing happened.
And Yahoo, but as by the looks of things. But yep.
Yeah, well, Yahoo is citing Twitter, so it looks like it's actually been reposted on multiple Twitter accounts, so that's good. And no doubt this is gonna go viral if it hasn't already. So yeah. Anyways, final topic. This one you guys are gonna enjoy tremendously. Florida man accused of traveling Florida man accused of traveling 1,000 miles to cut off penis of romantic rival.
Oh my god, that's one hell of a grudge.
That is a total Florida man thing to do.
Definitely the Florida man.
I mean, that's horrible, but I mean, that's dedication to your art. I mean, imagine listening. I mean, everyone here, everyone who's watching, I'm sure you've been angry before. I mean, who hasn't?
When was that article made?
The article was made today, actually.
The dark side is strong with this one because that's the only thing I could see to motivate a Florida man to do that.
Why do I have a feeling that this is the guy to cut off Jim Jesus' dick, and that's why he's dickless?
Oh, that's probably what happened.
Yeah, it was Jim Jesus. That's who they did it to.
It was Jim Jesus.
To think I was trapped in that state for 2 fucking weeks.
Hey, Jim Jesus, if you ever want to come on stream and tell us exactly your experience with Florida Man and why he ate your dick, we're happy to have you at any time. But we'll assume that you're not. We're assuming that you're not being on stream in the next 5 seconds is just going to be proof that you're a bitch.
Oh my god!
Oh,
4, 5.
Dude,
He's part of the hashtag Me Too movement. Oh my god!
How the hell did Jim Jesus get into this?
I don't know. He's just being a fucking bitch lately, and we've been making fun of him in my Discord server.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm seriously considering making my Discord server public because, like, I want more people in there to have a good time with. It's just with how much people hate me. I know as a matter of fact I would get like rated nonstop. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's why you have a filter, like my server.
And also the fact that Jim Jesus is a fucking attention whore, as we can see.
Yeah. So, anyways, so what happened is that this guy traveled from Florida to Illinois. He went from Florida to Illinois to carry out this thing.
Yeah.
And like as I was saying earlier, like everyone's been angry before, but after like a day or even a few hours, it doesn't seem that bad. But I mean, like you're nursing a grudge that you go out of your way to travel 1,000 miles at the cost of I don't know how much money. Let's see here. He booked a flight and rented a car, so he's probably out at least 1,000 doing this, just to track down one guy who might not even be in a place he knows. And yeah, that's serious dedication to your art. I mean, the quote earlier, just like Florida man is as insane as he is unstoppable. I think that's completely true.
Florida man.
The world's worst superhero.
Yeah.
I want to see what Florida Man versus Deadpool. Oh my god.
That would be the best movie ever.
Florida Man v Deadpool. Oh my god.
Florida Man PVN's tryhards. That happens on like a weekly basis, though.
I think someone posted in your server, Essos, Florida Man being featured in the X-Files comics. One of them was a Florida man running for president, already has VP selected, and it's just a sketch of a man on a riding mower naked with a trailer behind it carrying a tied-up alligator.
Hell.
I mean,
Dude, I don't know what to be more surprised about, that or the fact that they make X-Files comics. Like, why would anyone read that?
I guess there's people who are nostalgic about the 90s series. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I think that's all the time we have for today.
All right.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you everyone for coming on, and thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Everybody, if you want to show your stuff, now's a chance.
I am making videos again.
He is making
Yeah,
videos again.
I'm SO and I have no idea when my next video will be up because I'm in one of my ruts where I have 2 videos I want to make really badly and I can't decide which one I want to make more.
Yay.
The one on the left.
Yeah, definitely.
And Mazer in this stream is brought to you by Audible.com.
Yay. They're giving me money now. No, they're not.
Hashtag
Give-
internet fame.
Give me money already. And, yeah, thank you again for coming on, and see you next Tuesday.
I'm gonna do a doorbell.
Bye.